Hey everybody, how you doing? So I guess I wanted to do like another little devlog thing here because I've been doing a whole bunch of work and I wanted to show you some stuff. So um, this doesn't necessarily follow what it is that I had um, before. If you've watched any of the other videos, um, in the previous videos, yeah. Let's try to turn that down a little bit because I'm sure that's freaking loud on your end. Oh, I don't even have. Oh, do I just have it in here? Oh, okay. Let's turn that. I guess I could have muted it, but anyways. Oops. So in the previous videos, I had it so that I had this punch thing, right? And then I had the sword, so I would mouse wheel and I would get the sword. Currently, I've rebuilt everything. So I've done it from scratch, and I've got a Milanote here. Let me just do this real quick for you. So see, I've got a Milanote, and so I've been working on some stuff, and I've changed the name. It's now called Active War. I think that's going to be the actual game name that I'm going to go with. So currently, you can watch these guys, and when you're punching and the health, the damage being done here. Let me go grab this. And so for player attack, damage to give 1, and on the slimes, their max health, let's say, is 10. So let's grab this slime. Put his health at 10. Well, let's put it at, yeah. Oh, well, I just killed him by doing that. That's funny. Okay, so let's go like this. So if I go and I punch that slime, he's got health, and you'll see that he actually got reduced by 2 because the punches, it's like a 1-2. It's like douche douche with the 2 separate fists. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1, and the health goes down, and then he dies. Then he drops this little green ball. So this is a slime. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the slime throw. I'm going to turn off the hand. And then I've got this. So I don't have everything fixed out here. So like the hand is not visible because it's not on the right layer. And this one, so I'll have to change that later. But so he's kind of like tossing the ball up and down, right? And then when you click, his hand kind of goes like up a little bit and then throws. And then these do damage. And it's set with a glider. So if I'm really close, how close do I have to be? Oh, I guess it hits. The glider that was for the slime ball is the size. It's the size of the slime ball, a little bit larger, but it's off. And then when we play through the slime ball throw, it turns on right here. So it turns on like right in front of him, but it's off here. So when he's like tossing it around like that, you can't accidentally like back up into an enemy type thing and hit the enemy with the ball, right? Ball's not affecting the monster. And that's it. So let's just make sure that's still working. Yeah, okay. Anyways, so I built the ball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a sword, and I'm going to put a sword into the project, and then I'm going to do the sword weapon. And so the weapon anchor is what you spin on. This is actually what rotates. There's no gizmo or whatever to see it right now, but And then the hand-to-hand is a weapon, and the slime ball is a weapon. And what happens is that when you mouse, it'll scroll through these, and it'll go like select, 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 and then it'll come back up and it'll select, and it'll just disable any of the ones that are enabled when you move away from it. When you move onto it, it just enables it, and then that becomes your weapon, and it disables the rest of them. So that's going to be in there soon. Right now, this map that I built is just kind of like quickly hand drawn. What was really annoying was actually like having to do all the corners and everything, which was really kind of annoying, but I did it because I wanted to kind of like run around and stuff, and I do want to put some breakable objects. And what I found was that these rooms are way too large. Like this room should be like cut in half, this one would be cut in half, and that would be a large room, you know, to whatever, like grid units wide, whatever it is. I don't know, 16 units maybe, or like what's okay, this is one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So these are 10 each. So a room should not be more than like 20 by 20 ever. Like maybe that's like a boss battle room, you know, a 20 by 20. Let's see if I've got. So a 20 by 20 would be like this, right? So that'd be a boss level. And then these hallways are good, but they're big hallways. I can make them smaller. I can make them only like one unit wide or whatever, so that I can run through and it'll be a tight hallway, 2 units for regular, and so on and so forth. So we've got some managers in here. So we have an audio manager. Was I gonna say anything about anything in here? So this is supposed to be yeah, the audio manager is the one that's supposed to be doing the level music and all that stuff, but I ended up creating this, and I never fixed the manager section and all that kind of stuff or whatever. There's an audio script there, audio script here, because I've got to tell it how to choose through the sound effects, which are here. So these go into an array, and it's like, you know, 1 to 20, and then so on the audio script, I'm just gonna trigger, you know, like audio play, you know, this number or whatever. It throws it into sound effects to play, and then it just plays the number. So it'll stop whatever's sound effects happening, and then it'll just play the next sound effects. What else? I think that's about it. You know, like the biggest amount of work for all of this. So let's bring Milanote over. It's just getting through everything, you know, making sure that it works the way that you want it to work, you know. Like it took me a day to get through the weapons anchor and all this stuff again, and it's like I'm not even done building it, you know what I mean? Like I still got to do the mouse wheel thing so it'll switch through, and then I don't know if you noticed, but I'll show you that there's a big problem with the way that I've done the slime ball. So the slime ball is coded with the same attack script and everything as the hand-to-hand. And because the slime ball has a long trajectory once it's thrown, like this happens over, I don't know, whatever it is, half a second, and the ball goes quite far. So I'm click, 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 or click and hold. Now if I switch over to the hand-to-hand, okay, you'll see that the hand-to-hand, I'll turn off the ball so it doesn't. When you do the hand-to-hand, it's like really close, and that means that it kind of like, even though the animation is taking half a second because it's one hand in the other hand, one hand in the other hand, it's so close that it feels faster. It feels like ba 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 ba. And so when you're moving your mouse, technically you can click down here and then just slide the mouse up, right? So I'll click down here and I'll slide the mouse up, right? And kill the guy above because the hand is rotating. And so if we do the same thing with the slime ball, let's just try to get out of here. Okay. If I do the same thing with a slime ball, it throws a slime ball, but then I can do the same thing. I can throw it and then slide it. See? Throw and slide, throw and slide. So I'll click on the right-hand side, and then it follows the anchor, and so you end up with this. Right? Like, that's no good. But then, while I was building all of this, I was like, you know what? It's like, listen, I know I'm gonna have to rewrite things, but this is my first game. Like, of course I have to rewrite things, you know what I mean? And so I thought it wouldn't be the worst idea if I just left the ball like this, you know, so that I can play test and be like, is this gonna be a cool game? Like, do I like it? You know, what features do I want or not want? Or like, how does it actually interact? Or all that stuff, because I've never done any of this, right? So I've decided that I'm just gonna leave the ball like that. It works, whatever, I don't care. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna cut and paste, you know, duplicate this, put a sword in, boom, there's my sword weapon. And then I'm gonna take the slime ball, I'm gonna duplicate that, put in an arrow, it'll be my bow and arrow, and I'm gonna make a bunch of weapons real fast like that. So it's really just kind of getting everything up and running, you know. So build the sprites, the weapon prefabs, do the tile set, make the dungeon, set some layers, make a mob, do a health system, you know, kill the mobs, add some UIs, you know, fix the animation, fix some audios, make a slime ball, get some sounds in there, and then eventually you end up with what I'm showing you. So I think that's pretty much it. I do have other guys in here, so I've got some different enemies. The cool ones are the flames. The flames are pretty awesome. This is going to be maybe a little bit difficult to see, just because it's kind of unique for a moment. Let's grab my player and put him up here. So these flames have a wander script, so they're supposed to just kind of like move around and stuff. But then when they get too close, and they're within range, they try to run away from me, like this guy. So you'll see that he actually wanted to go down to, like, you know, the southeast side, but because he was getting into that range, he was trying to move away and then move southeast and move away and then continue his thing. So it's like both of those are running at the same time. So it makes for these really cool interactions where you can actually push a guy back who's trying to like run towards your direction. But then when the timer goes, so I'm following this one, when the timer goes and he changes direction, see, now he started to run that way. And he's running up towards the wall. Which way is he going to choose now? Hopefully a down direction. Let's just push him down a bit. So they kind of have this like skirting effect. Like they'll actually kind of like move around. See, he's trying to go left, but I can kind of push him around, you know? Oh. Yeah, I like that. He kind of like going down because I'm like pushing him down, and so they kind of like skirt and dodge in a way, you know? And then that got me thinking about that game guy that was making some Godot thing, and he's like, how I made combat cool, and he's got little reticles on the mobs showing a portion of the script, so to speak. So it's like, you know, this guy chose that direction, so it drew like a gizmo in that direction. But then he ended up changing the code so that they kind of have like preference on directions. So there's like a weight to say to pull to or from the enemy, or certain directions that they can choose. So it ended up with this really cool reticle, which was kind of like a semicircle, and these little pins that would come out of the semicircle, and the pin got longer based on the weight of how interested the mob was in moving in that direction, and would turn red when he chose that direction. And so the reticle would spin around the mob as the mob chose to run in different directions and move around. And it was just really cool to kind of like watch it, you know. So I was thinking about trying my hand at something like that. What else do we got? I think it's just about what it is that I want to continue working on. So I'm gonna do a couple extra weapons, make some hit effects and things like that. I did end up building this little projectile here. So I thought this thing was cool. It was the first time that I'd ever done anything like this. And the idea is to put it on a projectile so that as it moves, see, they're kind of forced to want to go towards the left direction. So when this moves with the weapon anchor, it'll always be facing the proper direction. So if I'm shooting up, this will be rotated 90 degrees in that direction. So these particles will be going down as it travels up. So it'll always be facing the right direction. But yeah, so this is like a magic spell or something, you know, and as it's flying through, it creates that little trail. And that was the first time I'd ever built one of those. So I thought that was kind of neat. I like it. And I don't know if I want to change some of that because it's quite big, you know, like this is pretty huge. And I'm learning some of the tools, like you can that's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to do either. That's kind of cool. Oh, well, we'll leave it that like that. I like that. I think this is what I wanted to do. Make those in a little bit more. There we go. Yeah. So so I got some particles, and what else am I going to be working on? Oh, the next thing to be working on. Well, you know what? I'll open up the demo. So let me save this real quick. We'll save that and that. I'm using the collab feature, which has been immensely helpful. Finished slimeball weapon. That's effectively what I've done in this one. And all those files are added. So let's publish this. Alright, so let's go to this little town. We'll go to the scenes. We'll open the demo. This little demo scene, non-functional for whatever its reason. I think I'd screwed up a setting somewhere. Anyways, but I'm going to grab this and start building a little town, and I've got to put it into my grid. So right now this house is like one piece. I'm gonna have to cut the house, and I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to do that once I go into the artwork, and you know, I don't know where there's no house in this. Are the house sprites? Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll slice this so it's in half. And what I'm gonna do, let's go back over to my scene. In the grid that I have here, this grid is set up, and I've got some notes somewhere that tells me where to paint things for it to be properly displayed. And this was from a farming tutorial simulator thing, but basically what it'll allow me to do is put half the house here and have it show underneath the players. So the players on instances, so let's say we put that on, I don't know, ground 1 or something, and then the top half of the house ends up on top of the player, so then that goes on front 1 so that you can't see the player. And then I take the collisions layer and I draw the collisions on the part of the house that I don't want the person to be able to walk on, and leave open the spot where I do want them to work on, to be able to walk on. So it kind of looks like they can walk like into the door or into the steps, if they're steps of the house or whatever, so that you can walk behind the building and not be seen, and then walk in front of the building and be seen. And then I'm going to put up some trees and stuff, and I'm going to make like a little yard. So this is my weird dungeon. I'm going to make a weird yard thing. And I think that's about it. That's where I am with this right now. Yeah. So we'll see you later.